Hi everyone, by now you've already got your fantastic ideas for your apps, but whenever you're designing an app or any type of product for that matter, it's really important to get feedback from your clients so you can understand what exactly it is they're after, hopefully making your product better. So to do so, we're going to collect some information on SurveyMonkey. You'll need to visit surveymonkey.com up the top, and most of you won't have an account. So I'm going to show you how to sign yourself up for an account to get on, to start collecting feedback from each other. So first of all, if you have a Google account, you are able to use that, but most of us today are going to create our own accounts. So I'm Mrs. Chart, I'm from New Zealand, so that's going to be my name. You're going to go ahead and choose yourself a password and repeat it again, and then you're going to type in your school email address. Now this is the username that you use to log onto computer, so it might be Sarah T5000 for example, and then they all finish off with @eldaracademies.net. So that part's exactly the same for all of you. You will need to type in your school email address here and make sure you get it exactly right. I suggest for your username you set that the same as the username you log onto the computer with, so you can keep a record of everything without thinking about it. If you do choose something else, remember not to use your full name when you come up to the top there. So I've gone ahead and I've created myself an account. You'll have the same thing. You'll notice your name will be showing up over here. And once you're in, we can go ahead and start our survey. So I'm going to just give mine a general name, but you'll name it the name of your app. So it's nice and specific. Then I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some questions. Now you are only allowed a certain number of questions on a free account. I think it might be 10. So you'll need to talk really closely with the people in your group to find out what the most important information you want to know is. Think about the questions you might like to ask your potential customers. Do you want to know what they want from your app? Would you like to know how much they would pay for your app? If there's something in particular that it should be able to do, or maybe a certain way that it should look. You might want to know if they've seen a similar app before. You might like to ask them what they like about certain applications or what they don't like. So there are lots of different questions that you can ask, and your job today is going to be to go ahead and design yourself a survey using at least 3 different types of questions if you're able to. Now that is our super stretch challenge. If you're not feeling quite so confident with SurveyMonkey, then you might just choose 1 or 2 types of questions. I'll let you have a talk with your group. Of course, if you feel like you want to use 4 or 5 types and it's appropriate, then you are able to do so. But just make sure that whatever types of questions you choose, they're really helping you to get information from the people around you. So you'll see over here there are different types of questions. Now multiple choice is going to allow people to choose lots of different options. So for example, if I add a multiple choice question here, I might say, tell us everything that is important to you in an app. And they can click as many of these as they like. So I might say one thing that could be important to people is low price. Now when you're asking this type of a question, of course you're going to need to think about what type of responses people might choose. Now don't just think about what you'd say, you need to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else. So for someone else it might be important that it looks good, okay? That it's easy to use. And if I need more, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to keep on clicking on these green arrows. Now you can also, green pluses. You can also see over here, allow more than one answer to the question. So that's something I do want to allow people to use. I also might say, is it important it's original? And if any other reasons why you think people might choose an app. Okay. Fits my purpose. So does it achieve what they're wanting it to achieve, for example. You've got other types of questions here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one first of all. I'm happy with that question. And this is how it's looking. Someone can come through and choose everything that matters to them. Now I'm going to go ahead and challenge myself to use another type of question. So I'm going to use a drop-down box. Now a drop-down box is going to work well if there's only one possible answer. Okay, so for example, you might ask somebody, have they purchased apps before? Have you, or let's say, have you paid for an app before? Yes or no. I don't need that third question, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And I'm going to hit and click Save. So we can see how this is starting to look. Someone's able to choose that one and I'll get the information. Now, there are lots of other types of questions in here. I'm going to go ahead and let you actually have a play with them and work out what you would use for different purposes. Now, I wonder if you're able to find one that will rank answers for people. So like this one here, we had the information, but rather than just saying these three are important, you might go ahead and ask someone to rank something from the most important answer to the least important answer. So hopefully that makes sense, gives you some ideas. Once you're finished and you've got your questions, remember I think it was up to 10 that you can have. Of course, if you don't need that many questions, then don't feel like you need to include them just because. We want the information you get at the end to be important. Once you've got that, you'll have a link here to your survey and you can go ahead and start sharing that with each other. So you might like to share that with people in our class, in our year level, maybe with your family at home, and you'll start getting the information through. So if I have a look here at my survey, it will come up so someone can say everything that's important to me. Well, I like things that are low price, easy to use, and it needs to fit my purpose. Doesn't matter to me quite so much if it doesn't look good or if it's not original, as long as it does those other things. And yes, I have paid for an app before, so I'm going to click on that. Go ahead and click done. And here we go. I get a little page to say, yes, I've completed my survey. And if I come back in here, we will start to find responses coming in. Now, it might be a little bit early for them to come in just yet, but let's have a look up on Analyze Results. This is where we go to see our responses as they do start coming in. And here we go. Already we've got one response. So I can see here, I'm one person who's answered. And I can say, so far, one person has said low price, one easy to use, and one that fits my purpose. And of course, that's me. And it also gives us the information down here below in a chart. So you can decide how you want to view your information and have a look through there. Also, you can start having a look at individual responses. So we might have a little look later on to see how you can organise your data based on boys versus girls, for example, to see if they're answering in the same way, because your app might be aimed more so at one gender or the other, or at a particular age bracket. If you would like to organise your information that way, then make sure when you're in designing your survey that you've asked people some information about themselves. So you might add a drop-down box, for example, that asks, what gender are you? And you might give them the option of obviously male or female. Get rid of the one that we don't need, click Save. Now, this type of question, when you're asking a question about the person, it makes sense to have it at the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and move it up and make it question number 1. So any information you have that's in regards to the type of person that's answering your survey, for example, if you'd like to ask them what their name and their room number is, because you might decide to go and talk to them a little bit more in person afterwards, pop it in at the top and then ask your specific survey questions down the bottom. Whatever you do, just make sure that you are continually going ahead and saving by clicking through to your next button and keeping it in there. So if I click back through, that gender question has saved. You can come in and change your themes, but please make sure that's only done at the end once you're ready to send your survey. So I think that's everything. Go ahead and have a play. We're really excited to see what types of survey questions you come up with. I suggest before you start on SurveyMonkey that you go ahead and sit down with your group with a piece of paper and really talk about what it is you would like to learn from your potential audience. The responses you get from your survey should be able to adapt and make changes to the way that you plan your app to improve it even further. Good luck and have fun.